What's going on, everyone? It's sane back with another video. Your man has just completed his first year of dental school, I think. With the COVID-19 stuff going on, I'm not 100% sure, but didactically, I'm with D2. So I thought it'd be helpful to make a video on the particular do's and don'ts that you should consider prior to entering dental school. Before I start this video, for those that do not know me, my name is Sane. I'm a current dental student at the University of Detroit Mercy School of Dentistry, and I make helpful and resourceful videos and dental and lifestyle vlogs. So if that type of content interests you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when I post another video. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up at the end. But yes, let's get into the topic of the video. So I'm going to give you 3 important do's and don'ts on what you should do prior to starting dental school. So we're going to start with the first don't. This is the most important thing that you need to try, that you need ingrained into your brain prior to coming to dental school, and that is don't compare yourself to others. Every dental student will tell you this, and every dental student essentially comes in with this mentality, but it's a lot easier said than done. So I'm going to give you guys specific examples because most dental schools run this way on how you should imply this not comparing yourself mentality. What you should be doing, and this is the do, you need to understand that when you start dental school that everyone around you is going to be very intelligent, very hardworking, but the fact of the matter is that everyone is going to learn at a different pace. The learning curve is different for everyone, and that's what you really need to understand. So when you're sitting there in a sim lab and you're doing a wax up of a central incisor, and the person right next to you is literally waxing a tooth that looks exactly like a type nut tooth the first time, and you're literally sitting there and you're waxing up a thumb that's like basically crumbling off. It looks like, it doesn't even look like it should belong in your mouth. Do not get discouraged, because it's very easy to fall into that trap of, wow, like, is this the right profession for me? Am I fit for this? When you see other people doing well, you need to understand that hand skills is something that we've never done in our lives. So like when someone tries it for the first time, not everyone's gonna be complete garbage, you know? There are gonna be some people that have been somewhat exposed to it prior and they get an idea of how to do it. And there are gonna be others that have literally never seen this in your life, and you're gonna be sitting there like, wow, how do I even take this wax, melt it, and put it on the tooth? Like, you're gonna have moments like that. Don't be discouraged on other people's work, because everything is going to take practice. Like, the first time I did a class 1 prep, it was the least conservative, biggest prep, and I really hope that I never do that on an actual patient, but again, it's the first time you're doing something. You're gonna figure out tricks, you're gonna have to get creative, you're gonna find out ways on how to improve yourself when you're doing those types of procedures, and it's gonna take practice. For someone it might take 30 minutes, for another person it might take 30 hours. Like, that's just the reality of it. But at the end of the day, you know, you're all gonna become competent in doing that particular procedure, because you have to be. If it comes to it and you're really struggling, there are students who are willing to help you and give you tips, faculty members, so make sure you reach out. Make sure when it comes to like clinical stuff, you're not comparing yourself to others. I'm telling you, you're gonna lose your mind. Like, even if you make a competent prep, but the person right next to you has the smoothest, most perfectly lined prep you've ever seen in your life, or the restoration is just absolutely beautiful, opposed to you saying like, wow, this is amazing, I can't do that. Ask them for tips, like, hey, what instruments are you using? What techniques are you using? Like, how are you getting it this smooth? How are you getting this shiny? Blah, 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 you know? That's what you should be doing when it comes to other people's work. And most people will be willing to do it. Obviously, some people won't. But most people, especially in my class, they were willing to help and share information. So just make sure you guys keep that in mind. And in terms of just like didactic work, you're gonna find people studying for the night before exams, and they might get an A, and you studied a week in advance and you got 15-20% lower. Like, when it comes to that kind of stuff, you will lose your mind if you compare grades and compare study techniques and really put yourself down for not being able to do well compared to another person, you know? And you're gonna realize, like, hey, there's a specific way that this class tests material, like, this is the type of stuff I should focus on. Maybe I should, you know, watch an online lecture, maybe I should use external resources like on YouTube. Maybe I should just meet the professor and maybe they'll be transparent with me on what's on the exams. you have to utilize all the resources you have and reach out to people in order to do well in these didactic courses, because in dental school you don't have as much time as you did in undergrad to study. And in most curriculums you're going to have a very didactic heavy curriculum, especially the first 2 years. And for us, we literally had an exam every week this semester, at minimum. Like an exam and a quiz at minimum. Some weeks we had 4 or 5, others we had 2 or 3, but at least one exam every single week. And it takes a toll on you, because the moment you're done, you're starting to study again. So if you're someone that genuinely wants to do well and aim for a high grade, I definitely recommend just getting creative with your study habits, instead of, rewriting notes and highlighting, maybe you should try some active recall methods. Use Anki Deck, make test questions for yourself. And if the studying habits aren't really working that well for you, reach out to classmates who are willing to help and give you studying tips. Reach out to your professors. They literally might be like, oh, you don't have to worry about this whole page. Like there might be a page full of all this content and they're sitting there like, yeah, like just know this part of it. And then you won't have to waste time studying unneeded material. A lot of different ways for you to do well, but make sure you're not comparing yourself to other people, because everyone's different. Not everyone studied 6 weeks for the DAT, for example. Some people studied 2 weeks, some people studied 4 months. And the person that studied 2 weeks and the person that studied 4 months may have got the exact same score. So don't look at the score. Just make sure that you are utilizing every single resource possible. Reach out to all the people that are willing to help, whether it be students or faculty. Just make sure you know, like in your heart, that you are trying your best in this class. Not everyone's gonna get an A, and it's very tough to do, but as long as you did your best, guys, that's all that matters. And that is going to segue into our next topic, which is don't invest all your energy into dental school. Now, without a doubt, dental school is going to be your #1 priority. Whatever life you have going on, you have to dedicate a lot of your time, a lot of your days, a lot of your hours to dental school. It's just simple as that. But at the same time, do not dedicate all of it to dental school, because you will lose your mind. I'll give you guys a story. When I was studying for the DAT, there was a point in my studying, like towards the latter half of my studying, it was about a 4 to 5 week period where I stopped working out, I stopped leaving my house, and all I did was dedicate my time to the exam. I would just eat, take practice tests, and study. And it got to a point where I had rescheduled my exam to like 10 days later, 2 months prior. So I was thinking to myself, like, hey, like if I have 10 more days, it'll probably be better because I'm nowhere near ready. I think it was a week before my original date, I just wanted to take the exam. I was so burnt out. I felt like that I maxed out, not only on the amount of information that I learned, but just like the whole concept of the exam itself. And that's where I went wrong in my studying. And that's something not only you should avoid if you're studying for the DAT, but if you're in dental school. If you only dedicate everything to dental school, you're gonna burn out, you might lose your mind, and your mental health will be heavily affected. Now, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time without a doubt, but make sure you allocate some of your time to things that you like. Like for me, I love working out, it keeps me sane, and I wanna stay physically fit. And like for me, it's definitely a priority to stay physically fit. I also do a cultural dance called Bungano, where I was able to fit, 5-6 hours in the weekend and go to my practices. If it was more of a busy week, like I'd only go to 1 out of the 2 practices. Obviously I have the YouTube channel and I'm making videos and vlogging this stuff and making resourceful videos. So like, I'm doing things outside of dental school that are keeping my mind away from it, because although it is a priority and it's very, very important to learn as much as you can, if you're putting all your energy towards it, you're just gonna lose your mind. It's gonna affect you physically, it's gonna affect you emotionally and mentally. And honestly, you might just get sick of looking at dental related stuff. You might just get sick of the content you're looking at and just the whole idea of dental school. So you have to make sure, like with everything in life, you should never be overdoing a particular thing. As I said before, like dental school is gonna be a top priority. It's just the way it is. It's just so much information in 4 years. You're gonna have to allocate a lot of time to it, but make sure you guys are doing something that's taking your focus off of it in parts of the day, parts of the week, whatever that case may be. And lastly, and this is probably my biggest issue when it comes to this kind of stuff, because this is an issue I've had all throughout my academic career, and it is do not procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. What you should be doing is having a well-balanced studying schedule, and you have X amount of hours in the day just dedicated to studying. Because oh my goodness, the amount of long nights, all-nighters that I've had in dental school, is definitely not healthy. And I'm telling you that from my experiences. I'm being completely transparent and honest with you guys. Don't do it. Just because I've seen the negative effects that's happened, not only on some of my exam scores, but just like my overall physical health. And that's something I'm definitely going to work on and be better at, because especially our D2 year, it's gonna be way more didactic heavy, and it's gonna be a lot tougher to have those types of habits. And the weeks that I do, balance out my studying, get a good night's rest, are the exams I do way, way better on. There's no question that there's a difference between my exam scores when I have a more balanced schedule, studying little by little before the exam, opposed to studying, the day before, a few days before. Because all these dental school exams are very content heavy, and none of them are really easy. A lot of the concepts that you're gonna learn are gonna be very new, especially if it's more so in the dental anatomy, perio, endo, that kind of stuff. And the very complex, biochemistry process, physiological processes. It's gonna be a lot of complicated stuff that's gonna take you a while to learn. So if you're one that starts like a few days before, the day before, it's like, there's no question, it's gonna be a long night. So don't procrastinate and leave all your studying until the end, because for some people, that might be the reason why they fail or do incredibly poorly. If I were to give any advice on that matter, and if there's anything that I noticed for some of my classmates who are, who come into every single exam with a full amount of sleep, knowing the material very well, what they tell me is it's the best when you organize your studying, where you're spending X amount of hours a day to studying, and actually writing down what lectures to look at on a day-to-day basis and when you will later review those lectures. And also incorporating what time you're gonna go to the gym, what time you're gonna eat, what time you're gonna watch Netflix, whatever the case may be. If you have like a strict schedule, you write down your daily tasks, and you have specific hours allocated towards whatever you're gonna do, I think that's the best way to do it, because you're on a strict schedule, you'll be a lot more organized, opposed to just leaving everything towards the end and having to really rush your studying and try to cram all that information in your head. Do your best to not procrastinate and just have a well-balanced schedule. Start studying early, get as much sleep as you can, because I'm telling you, the last thing you want to do is go into an exam with 30 minutes of sleep, and then, especially if it's a day where you have like lab or something, you're gonna be incredibly tired for the rest of the day. Don't procrastinate. I'm telling you from experience, not worth it at all. But yeah, guys, those are my 3 do's and don'ts prior to starting dental school. I really, really hope that was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be dropping more videos soon. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.